Good morning. How are you this fine day? I'd like to chat with you a little about hearing. Some of you know that about a month ago, I experienced a heart attack, which included me going into cardiac arrest twice. But God is good, and I'm standing here before you today. And part of the story is hearing, and that's what I want to talk to you about today is hearing. So I don't know your level of understanding of what happens when people go into cardiac arrest, but a quick overview and the Reader's Digest version of the story is that I'm at home, weed whacking, developed sudden onset of mid-sternal heavy chest pain right here and shortness of breath. I immediately thought I was just having an allergy attack. So I turned the weed whacker off, and in God's grace, my wife was on the back porch because she was going to go lay down and take a nap. So she heard it go off. She said, "Are you okay?" And I told her to come get me. Well, we bantered back and forth a little bit. It's kind of funny. She wanted me to bring the tractor up, and I said, "No, come get me." So she comes down and gets me. I get in the car to sit in the air conditioner for a second, and I realize that I'm having a heart attack. So I have her to call 911. And again, God is so glorious in some things in life, and in this particular instance, it was one of them. He knew what to do. So the ambulance crew showed up. A medic that I worked with for years ago, was the first person there. The ambulance crew was someone I've worked with for years, known for years, and was part of me becoming a paramedic, and one of my students in my current class. So the joke was I told the student that if I live, he'll get an A after he writes the chart. So needless to say, they take me to the hospital. I wanted to be Christiana, who also took very good care of me. I'm in the ER, and I tell them I am going to pass out. Now, one of the things I stress with my paramedic class is that as you lose consciousness, God designed it so the last sense that leaves or stops functioning is your hearing. And as you regain consciousness, the first one that comes back is your hearing. So I hear them say as I pass out that he's in fib, or ventricular fibrillation, which is the really squiggly looking thing you see on TV when they say, "shock him." So someone in the room gave me what they call a precordial thump, and he punched me in the chest. And so I was still able to understand what's going on. And I thought, oh, that wasn't too bad. And then I heard the paddles charging, and I went, uh-oh, this is going to hurt. I was not lying. It is the worst pain I've ever had. Well, subsequently, through the whole process, and at some point in time, I'll share more of the story with you, they delivered electricity to my body 22 times before they resolved the issue in the cath lab. So I'm very thankful of that. So what does it have to do with hearing? Well, one of the things to truly hear what's going on and what is truly being told to you is that you have to be quiet. All right? And trust me, I'm not saying that you should go out and be in cardiac arrest and being flatlined so you can be quiet and hear God. That's not the point of this conversation. So Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among nations, and I will be exalted in the earth." So God knows what's going on. So unfortunately, as we all know, we're in a very interesting time in life and in the history of our country, where we've been quarantined because of the virus, protest, and it's not just this time. It's most of our lives as people on this earth. There's a lot of noise, and I mean a lot of noise, a lot more recently. So we have everyone talking about the virus, everyone talking about the protest, everyone talking about the election, everyone talking about something. It's not different. It's been that way for my entire life. There's always some conversation going on about something not being right. So, how do we hear God? Well, first of all, we have to stop and quiet ourselves. Okay, so God rests, and so the quiet time, especially now with all the confusion and all the noise coming on, because it's very distracting. It's very distracting for me. It's very distracting for you. We have to purpose quiet time for God. So Exodus 14:14 says, "The Lord will fight for you and will have all you have to do is be silent." So God is here to fight our battles. God is our defender. God's burden and God's presence in our life is not a burden to us. It's a joy to us. So what I want you to think about, and what I'm finding trouble to do even today, is to find time to be quiet with God. So I'm a big fan of a 30-second window because my attention span isn't the best. So if you can find the time during your day to spend 30 seconds and purpose 30 seconds that I am going to look out and see the beautiful sunshine we have right now, to see the beauty in nature. Pastor's been talking about fireflies, and I believe that God is just showing off to himself. He gives us plenty of opportunity to just still and be still before him, where he will give us rest, he will give us quiet, and in those times he will give us direction. If we're too busy to listen to everything that's going on around us, and this person's opinion, and that person's opinion, and that newscaster's opinion, because no one's giving us godly advice, but God and his word will. So be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not yourself over one who prospers in his way, over the man who carries out evil devices. Psalm 37:7. Find a way to be quiet before God. Find your favorite verse. Find your favorite scripture. Find your favorite hymn, your favorite praise and worship song, and purpose each day to spend a minute or two with him and him alone. It will change your perspective, because you'll see things the way he sees things and not the way the world wants to change our view. Have a great week. Bye-bye.